Hey folks, I'm Gene Dallasalo with Audioholics. Now I know it's been a while since I've discussed car audio. It's been actually a year since I said I was going to revamp the system in my BMW M235i, but as you might recall, I was rear-ended by a phone-distracted driver last year, and it really messed up my car, messed up my neck, and all that fun stuff. It took like 3 or 4 months to get the car fixed, and it just never was right after that. I went back to the body shop 3 or 4 times, and just using the pinky test, I could see stuff wasn't aligned properly, and it just, being the anal retentive kind of guy I am, I like to have everything done right. I decided to trade the car in, and basically I took it in and I got a BMW M240i 2018 model. So it's a significant upgrade in performance, and I'm actually going to do a little video on that, even though our channel's more audio based. I really like cars, and I think I should do a little mini review of that car. Anyways, big improvement in driver dynamics, acceleration, all that stuff. But this time, knowing that I was going to get a new car and knowing that I was gonna change out the equipment, the audio equipment, I decided not to get the Harman system. So I got the standard HiFi system in this car, in the 18 model. And let me tell you, the best way I could describe the sound quality of this system is vile. One word, vile. It is so bad. And I know my standards are pretty high in home audio, obviously, for what we do. But I've owned many cars in the past. I've owned Acuras with the ELS system. I've owned Lexus with the stock and the Mark Levinson systems. And obviously, I owned the Harman system in the BMW M235i, which I was a bit critical of. I didn't think it was up to the standards for a car of that caliber. But let me tell you, the HiFi system that comes standard in BMW's 2 Series is just atrociously bad. It's vile. It's just painful to listen to. There's no separate tweeter components in it. It just has basically a 4-inch full-range driver for the door mounts, 4-inch full-range driver for the rears. It still has the underseat woofers. So all of the basic driver topologies are similar, except with the Harman system, you do get the separate tweeters, you get the components, and they both have the center channel, which in this car is useless because it's just a left plus right dump to the center, and that really collapses the soundstage. I wish car manufacturers would stop doing that. We've spoken about that before. But the HiFi system is just really unlistenable. It makes me wish I had the Harman system. And for those that are not planning to do what I'm talking about in this video of modding your audio system, I will tell you, if you're getting the 2 Series, spend the $875 and get the Harman system. In fact, in 2017, they retuned that system. My car was a 15, so I didn't have the new tune. So the retuned Harman system is actually better. The bass quality is better in that system. And it's not a bad system. It's certainly better than the HiFi system. And if you're any type of an audiophile or just like listening to music, don't do the HiFi system. Get the Harman system. But with that said, we're going to go way beyond that Harman system. I've elected to get the guys from a company called Musicar Northwest. They're based out of Oregon, and they were highly recommended to me by JL Audio. I actually started out phoning JL Audio and saying, hey guys, I need to do something with this BMW system. And they were willing to get me their 6-channel amplifier and DSP, but they told me if you want the absolute best component system put together for your car, including the tuning, you want to go to Musicar Northwest. These guys have been doing it for a long time. In fact, when I looked them up, I was pretty impressed with what I found about them. There's the guys that started are Tom Miller and Ken Ward. Started back in 2009, and they've been voted for 3 years in a row the top 12 auto sound retailers in North America. And Ken Ward is a particular guy that's doing my system, and he's like a veteran. He's been around for 30 years in the audio industry. He's been the past chair of the CEA Mobile Electronics Education Committee. He conducts seminars on industry knowledge fest annual conventions and music ear training subsidiaries. This guy's involved in a lot of stuff audio. I've spoken to him several times on the phone, and I was blown away by his knowledge, not just in car audio, but in home audio. This guy really understands his stuff. I feel really comfortable that he was putting together the system for me. So we went back and forth, and we came up with a system that they're going to do. In fact, he designed the system. He did all the custom molds so the drivers will fit into the car. and I'm having it installed locally by another really good company called Maximum AV. They're based out of Tampa. I'll discuss them more when I do the installation video, but I want to focus just on the system itself of what's going in my BMW M240i. So let's start with the Jehnert XE200 6-channel amp. Now this amplifier is rated at 75 watts times 6, that's in 4 ohms, or 100 watts times 6 in 2 ohms, and it's bridgeable to 200 watts and 4 ohms for 3 channels if you want to go that route, if you want to power subwoofers. This is a Class D amplifier. It's a switching design. It runs off of 14.4 volts from the car idle. That's from the idle voltage, so if the voltage goes higher, then obviously you get more power. The way we're configuring this amplifier is one channel is going to drive the front left component system, which is a woofer tweeter. One channel is going to drive the front right component system of the door, which is the woofer tweeter. One channel each for the underseat 8-inch subwoofers. So right now we're up to 4 channels, and then one channel for each of the deck speakers in the rear. So it's 6 channels, and if you notice, we're not including the center channel because we're nixing the center channel. I really think it's a mistake when companies just do a left-right mix into the center. If you go to the BMW 4 Series or even 3 Series, the Harman system in those cars have Logic 7, and then the center channel makes sense because there's DSP processing in it. In fact, I had a 4 Series for about 2 weeks on loan when I was waiting for my new car, and the Harman system in that car was light years beyond the Harman system that's in the 2 Series, and it's mostly because of the Logic 7 processing. I really wanted to have some type of DSP in this car, and JL Audio is providing the DSP for that. It's called the TWK-88 DSP, and it's an 8-channel DSP tuner. It has all your EQ, time alignments, channel trims. It does pretty much everything you want to do in the digital domain in terms of manipulation of the audio signal. And it'll even do a left minus right mix for the back channels if you want to have a simulated surround like the old Hafler circuit from the 80s. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Let me tell you about the tune I came up with the guys at Musicar. So the JL Audio interfaces with a 3-position switch. And what I'm going to do, ideally when you set up a system like this, especially in a small car, these guys that do these systems do it primarily for 2-channel. So they try to time align everything to the driver's seat. So the left speaker is obviously closer to you than the right speaker because the right door is further away. This DSP will allow you to time align, level change, and EQ the differences so that way the speakers on both sides are balanced and you get, the best imaging possible. Well, I think that's great. I love, because most of the time I'm in the car driving myself, and I love to have that position where it's finely tuned for me. But I also like having rear speakers. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you just need the 2 front channels, but I do like rear fill. And what I'm doing for that, rather than just having them run full range stereo, I'm doing the left minus right, the Hafler circuit I was talking about, to give you kind of a simulated surround, to give you that fill effect. So that's position 1. It's going to be tuned from my seat with the left minus right in the rears. Position 2, I'm going to have it tuned between my seat and the front passenger, my wife. So we're going to probably have like a compromise between the 2 of us so we both get a decent stereo response. Obviously position 2 won't be as good for me as position 1, but at least the wife gets a good approximation as well. Again, the rear speakers are going to be left minus right. And then position 3 is going to be for when I have the kids in the car. I'm going to do 4-channel stereo. It's going to be balanced the same way towards the front center between my seat and the passenger seat, but we're going to have 4-channel stereo. That way the kids in the back can, listen and enjoy music. Because my daughters really like to listen to music when we go on car trips, and I don't want them just being thrown a simulated surround effect and just hearing a bunch of echoes. So that's what this DSP is allowing us to do. And it works off of 7.7 volts balanced input. But my car's got a 5-volt input, so it's fine. It's going to interface just great. Now, some people are going to say, well, now you're converting an analog signal to digital, then back to analog again. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? The DSP, the DACs in this thing are so good. And we're at the point now where you can do these extra analog to digital and digital analog conversion stages without a penalty in fidelity. And in fact, the fact that you're able to EQ everything and timeline everything makes up for any perceivable losses you're going to have by doing this D to A and A to D conversion stage. It's just going to enhance everything so much better, and it's well worth it. So that's what we're doing for the electronics end of this deal. And that amplifier, I think that the XD600 retails for about $559, and the TWK88 DSP retails for about $429. Those are approximates. You could probably get them cheaper online, who knows. So the next one we'll talk about is the 8-inch underseat woofers. The stock woofers are not that bad. You can actually get more power out of them, or better sound out of them if you put more power. But according to Ken, and I trust his opinion on this, he said the Jehnert XE200s are about the best kind of woofer you can stick under the BMW seat that fits in that form factor. It's going to give you a little bit better extension. It's going to be a much tighter bass response, and it's even more efficient. So we're going to get more output out of this thing. So I'm really looking forward to hearing, you know, just how much better it's going to be. That woofer is a paper pulp from Germany, and has a neodymium magnet, which is necessary when you have such a low profile and you need a strong motor force. The neodymium makes a difference. And these woofers aren't cheap. I think they're about 200 bucks a piece. But you know, when you're dealing with these kind of form factors and you want the best kind of drivers, you're going to spend a little bit extra money. So let's talk about the component speakers. And this is what I'm really excited about. It's from a company called Morel. And Morel's a really great company. They have home audio equipment, home speakers that you might be aware of, but they're pretty big in car audio as well. So we're going with their hybrid 402 component speaker system for the front left and right doors, and that's a 4-inch driver for the mid bass, and then a 1-inch soft dome for the tweeter. Now the guys at Musicar got the Harman door pieces so they could slide the tweeter in there, because my system doesn't have the cutout for the tweeter. So we're going to be pulling those pieces out and putting this in. And they also come with a very sophisticated network. It's not just a little cap on a series cap on the tweeter. You're getting a full crossover network like you're buying box speakers in a home. So it's got real air core inductors, polypropylene caps. It's a pretty sophisticated network. It's going to go inside the door. And the reason why we're using the passive crossovers and not doing the DSP crossover in the JL DSP processor is because we only have one channel going to each component speaker. So if you start filtering out that channel, you're not going to get the high frequencies to the tweeter. So we need to use the analog crossovers, which are designed for this system, and that's what we're doing. And then we're also going to go with their back speakers. We're going to match with the Morel 4-inch coaxials. They're the 402s. So they have the tweeter built in to the center of the woofer, and they have a first order network on the tweeter for the crossover. And we're also going to be doing some DSP tuning between the underseat woofers and that feed off to the component speakers. So I think they're going to be crossed over, those underseat woofers, at about 200 hertz. They're really not subwoofers. They probably play usable down to 50 or 60 hertz. But it's necessary for them to go up to 200 hertz because those little drivers on the doors and the back panels, they don't give you a lot of mid-bass punch. So you really need it from those 8-inch drivers. So all in all, I think this whole component system costs around 2,300 bucks or so, not including all the trim moldings. I got to get a full bill of material price for that when we do the install, and I'll let you guys know. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is one thing that really bothers me about a trend in all the cars these days is they put this artificial noise from the exhaust coming into the car to make the car sound more sporty. As you all know, you don't need to have that with the BMW inline 6 turbo. That car is sporty enough. The engine sounds great. I hate that fake injection noise, the motor noise that they throw in. It also adds noise to the system. You could actually hear the background hiss as a result. So we're actually going to bypass the ASD. In this car, it's not easy to do it through the software, so we're going to do it through a special wire harness. And now when I go into Sport Plus mode, I don't have to worry about the cabin sounding, have a loud engine sound anymore, artificial engine sound. We're going to be bypassing that. So that's a nutshell of what we're doing. Again, we're doing this with Musicar Northwest. I'm very happy that they helped me design this system. And the next time we talk about this, we'll be in the garage setting up the system. The guys at Maximum AV are going to do the install. They're going to get everything buttoned down, and I'm going to show you guys that you can have a great car system without having any aesthetics change in your car. Because how many times do you see people, they put these big car systems in, they got the big subwoofers in the back, and it's just a mess. I don't want that. I'm not looking to win any competitions. I just want to enjoy my music, and I want to have comparable fidelity to what I get at home or even in front of my computer. Let us know what kind of changes you've done to your car, or what car systems you have, and what deficiencies are in your car systems. Because I want to know, I want to start exploring the whole OEM car market more, and look at more of these audio systems and see which ones are good at stock and which ones need a little tweak to make them better. Okay, so that's all I have for today, guys. If you like this video, thumb it up, share it, talk about it, give us some feedback, and until next time, keep listening. So I figured I'd give you guys a little bit more illustrations of all the components. This is the JL Audio XE200 amplifier. And you can see there's all the connections over here. Got your power, grounds, your analog connections. And then a special wire harness that's going to interface with the BMW. Again, this was done by Musicar Northwest. And this little plate that it's on looks pretty cool. Next up, I want to show you the little coax speakers that are going to go in the rear deck from Morel. As you can see, the little tweeter, it's in the middle here. Substantial motor structure on this speaker. I'm really impressed. Much improved over what's in the stock system right now. Those are called the 402s. Now these are the underseat woofers. They kind of have them bolted together just for shipping. I'll get a better view of it when we install it, but these are clamped together right now. These are two woofers. They're going to come apart, obviously. The neodymium magnet is inside, kind of like where the spider is, instead of being on the outside. Pretty cool. Paper cone, very stiff paper cone, so they're going to be very efficient. Now this is the thing that really impresses me a lot. These components from Morel, the way they did the cone on them, they actually maximize the surface area. So you're going to get more cone area out of this driver than you do out of the stock driver that's in the BMW car. And these are treated. I think they're a paper poly-treated cone. That's the mid-woofer. And now the tweeters that go with that, as I was saying, they took the Harman molds, which this has no Harman component in it, and they put the Morel tweeter. That way when it's installed, it looks just like it's supposed to be there. And check out these crossovers. I've never seen like such heavy-duty crossovers put into a car system before. As you can see, there's some big air core inductors in here. There's two of them. It's a whole network. It's like a real speaker in a house. So that's very impressive. Of course, they fitted it with their cable. It's going to go into the door. And then we got a bunch of cable harnesses. I can't really explain what all this is yet. I'll be going over it with them when we do the install. But this is just to interface to the car. One of them's to bypass the ASD. And the center channel is going to be gone. There's more cable here. And then we have, last but not least, we have the TWK DSP from JL Audio. It's a little box with a lot of power. You can see all the connections on it. And the cool thing too is it has a USB port and a jail ID port. So I could actually have Ken Ward over in Oregon, even though I'm in Florida. He's going to come and kind of log into my system and look at the DSP and look at all the tuning and make any final adjustments in case they're needed. And then I could also do the same. So anytime I want to tweak anything, there's going to be software that JL Audio has that I'll actually be able to go in and change any parameters I want. Very powerful to have DSP in your car, so it's well worth the expense. And like I said before, the analog to digital and digital to analog conversion, it's worth it when you do a system like this. So that's it, guys. Enjoy. See you next time.